Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It is time for an all new round of speed reviews. So I do this series every single month, ranking all of the makeup that I tried this past month. I know I just posted my October video 2 weeks ago, but for November, I'm actually on time. Before we get into it, this video is very kindly sponsored by Luisa. I always absolutely love getting to work with Luisa because I have been wearing their pieces for several years at this point. If you are familiar with my channel, you know day to day I like low maintenance, delicate and dainty pieces that are going to go with everything, that aren't going to hurt my ears if I fall asleep in them, that aren't going to tarnish or do anything you don't want your jewelry to do, and that is the experience I have had with Luisa. So if you're not familiar with the brand, they are a carbon neutral jewelry brand based out of New York City, and they offer pieces in both gold and silver to sort of cover everybody's preferences, and their pieces start at $35. They're also backed by a 2-year warranty, which is amazing. So you're getting already affordable jewelry that is also backed by a warranty. So that's how much they truly do believe in their pieces, and so do I. So today I am wearing the Celine ring. This is just a silver band with little diamonds all the way around. It's just a very simple, delicate band. I also have the Sage earrings, which are some of my absolute favorite earrings for every single day because they're a little bit more interesting than a basic hoop, but they're super small and delicate, and they just sort of go with everything. And then of course, my beloved Inna necklace. I love this so much that I also have it in gold. I just absolutely love this little piece. I think it's so flattering. I think it elevates anything. I think I can dress it up, but I can also just wear it with loungewear day to day, and it still makes everything look a little bit more dressed up. So I love that. So for Black Friday, they will be having up to 35% off on their website. So if there's anything you would like to shop, I will leave all of those details down below, but they will have up to 35% off depending on how many pieces you buy. And if you're a member on their website, you can get an extra 5%. So that's a pretty amazing deal. So once again, I will leave all of the details linked down below. And I want to say another huge thank you to Luisa for continuing to partner with me and supporting my channel. I appreciate it so, so much. And let's get into today's ranking. All right, we have 16 products to talk about today. I really didn't think I had that much, but surprisingly I do. So coming in at number 16 is a product I mentioned early on that I couldn't tell if I loved it or if I hated it. And this is the ABH Volumizing Tinted Brow Gel. So I picked this up at the very last minute because I have been looking for a good auburn brow gel. It is actually really, really hard to find good auburn brow products. You guys did leave me some recommendations in my try on video, and I am so grateful, and I will definitely be trying those out. But it is really, really hard to find really good auburn brow products. I don't know why. So I saw this and added it to my cart for the Sephora savings event at the very last minute. I was really excited because it is from ABH, and then you do get this tiny little spoolie right here, which I really do like. One side has these longer bristles to sort of carry the product, and then the shorter bristles are definitely meant to sort of work it through your brows. The problem with this is that it is so messy. Even if you are so super careful, you're going to get so much product and it's going to make a mess, which is why I do recommend doing your brows first before you even do foundation. That's not typically how I like to do my makeup, but when I use this, that is just what I have to do. This is just a very messy product, and I have been working with it for weeks trying to make it easy to work with. The very first time I used this, I actually filmed a video right after, and I chose to scrap that video rather than posting it because my brows did not look even a little bit similar. So I will use this. It's just that I will never use this if I'm in a hurry because it does take time, but I will use it up because I have it and I really do love the color. This is a fantastic auburn shade. It's just such a nuisance to work with. So I dropped it down to number 16. Coming in at number 15 is a lip product that I actually really liked in my initial try on, but since then have decided that I don't really like it very much. This is the YSL The Inks Vinyl Lip Cream Lipstick. I had the shade 44 and I was really, really excited with this. I love a lot of YSL products, I know, but I was really excited about this. So this does just come with this sort of interesting little doe foot here. It is very pointed, it's slanted. It is also very bendy, so it does make it really, really easy to apply to the lips. The problem is I don't feel like it applies very even. So I think these are supposed to be somewhat similar to the Maybelline Vinyl Ink Lipsticks. I am a big fan of the Maybelline. So the Maybelline is definitely very pigmented, very opaque. It will last all day long. It is a bulletproof formula. Once the gloss wears away, you just end up with a matte liquid lipstick, but it does wear all day long. Those can be a bit drying, but a lot of liquid lipsticks can. The one thing I've never really liked about the Maybelline is that once the gloss portion wears off and you just have the liquid lipstick, it almost feels a little bit sticky. I feel like the liquid lipstick just remains tacky and I don't love that. I have gotten used to it because I've decided I do love that formula. So when I tried this on, I still got that super shiny liquid lipstick effect. This did wear quite a long time on the lips as well, and I really love the shine. The shine on this also wore all day long. This one does have a fragrance to it. Sometimes I like the fragrance, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I smell candy, sometimes I smell alcohol, and I don't know which one is correct. I really, really like this because I felt like the shine lasted a lot longer. It's a really beautiful color. It's very, very hydrating and comfortable on the lips, like very, very hydrating. The Maybelline can feel a bit dry. This one, super hydrating. However, this can actually be kind of challenging to get it to apply evenly, which I don't like. So I wore this a couple of times. The first time I noticed it was a bit patchy. When I filmed my try on, it looked beautiful. The time after that, I think it looked nice, but then ever since, it's always been super patchy. I don't think this is a very buildable formula, and you kind of have to keep your lips separated for a little bit when you first put it on, which you have to do with the Maybelline as well, but there's just something about this that does not always apply very evenly, and as a result, I just don't think it always looks nice. And for the price of this, I just don't think it's worth it. Coming at number 14 is a powder that I initially tried, and though I do like it, it really didn't hold up for wear time. So this is from Cheekbone Beauty. This is their mattifying moon dust, and I do kind of like the packaging. I do think it's quite unique. They did send this to me, and while I do like it initially, I do think it really gives a soft set. It's very blurring, and what I especially loved is it is not too heavy or dry feeling on my dry skin. We are getting into the colder months. It is starting to get really cold here, so I am expecting my skin to feel very, very uncomfortable. But this has still been very, very comfortable, so I really like that. However, I find that my dry skin ends up looking oily halfway through the day. It describes itself as a mattifying powder, but it's only really mattifying for a very short time. I did use this today, and you can see I'm already getting a little bit shiny right in here. So for that reason, I don't think that I recommend this. I think this brand does have some great products, and you're going to see them later on in this ranking. I thought this was my favorite, but I don't really think I like it that much, but we do have some absolute favorites from them coming up. Coming in at number 13 is the most controversial product of the entire month, and this is from Patrick Ta. This is the Major Dimension Eye Illusion Eyeshadow Duo, and We Need Better Lighting. So I did end up picking up one of these during the sale. I figured if I was going to make this splurge, then it best be during the sale. So this is what this one looks like. I do think it is a very pretty duo. So these caused a lot of drama because of their price point. And I get it. They're 42 US dollars, they're 57 Canadian. So I get it. That being said, I did want to pick it up to sort of form my own opinion. And this really is a lovely shade. So these are the two shades. You can see they are very, very shiny, very, very glittery. You can also build them up to get just a little bit more. I do think these are a really, really pretty formula. I think these are very beautiful. These are very sparkly. These are gorgeous one and done shadows. And part of the reason that these are so expensive, from my understanding, is based on how they're sourced. They're made in Italy, the packaging, and also because there's absolutely no fillers, which you can kind of tell when you touch these. I have heard that it kind of depends which duo you get that will determine how sparkly they are. This is one of the more sparkly ones. I've heard some of the others just aren't. So that does depend. I think this is a beautiful formula. I really do. Do I think it's way too expensive? Yes, but I also understand the reasons for and against. I do think it's a beautiful formula. Whether it's worth it, it's very subjective. It depends. If you don't have $42 for an eyeshadow, then no, absolutely it's not worth it. No eyeshadow is worth that. So while this is a lovely formula, I really do like it, I do think that there are some more inexpensive formulas that will give you a very, very similar look. If you're wanting the look of one of these, but you don't want to spend this price point, then you can definitely get it done for much, much less. There are a lot of really fantastic shimmer formulas. ColourPop has some great ones. The Ulta Beauty in-house brand has some really stellar single shadows that will also give you some really beautiful sparkle. They're a lot less expensive because they're a different formula, but they will give a similar effect to the eye. So if you don't have $42 to spend on something like this, then it's absolutely not worth it, and you can definitely get it done for a cheaper price point. That being said, if you want to splurge on something like this, then I don't really think you'll be disappointed because they are a really nice formula. They're buildable, they're customizable. I went with this one because I found that there was just a little bit more variation in the shades. All the other duos, except for maybe the pink one, the shades all look very similar, whereas these are polar opposites. So I kind of like that more. I like this formula. I'm glad I bought one. I do kind of want the one that's in the shade Talk to My Teen, but I don't know if I'll bother. I do have a Sephora gift card that I have to use up by December 23rd. It was one of the Rouge rewards, so I might use it to get that. We'll see. So I do think it's a lovely formula, but I do think you can get a similar effect from something much less expensive if that's what you're looking for. Coming in at number 12 is from Nars, and this is the Afterglow Tempting Eyeshadow Palette. I was so excited when this came out. So I feel like for September, October, all I'm doing is reviewing eyeshadow palettes, and I am living my absolute best life. But then November comes along and it's really more focused on all of the sales, the Sephora sale, Black Friday sales. And so then eyeshadow palettes just kind of stop coming out. But Nars did launch this one this month, and I was so excited about that. I do love the Nars eyeshadow formula. I think they have a stellar formula. They're very smooth, they're very blendable, they're easy to work with. Their shimmer formula, they do have a more chunky foiled formula, but they also have some very thin shimmer formulas that I think are beautiful if you have textured or mature lids, because they're never going to enhance texture. And you can always create a very beautiful look with the Nars eyeshadows. They are one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow brands. I've said this quite a few times, but Natasha Denona and YSL definitely have that top category. I would say closely followed by Viseart and Nars. So I love these formulas. So I do love this, but if you were to cover up this pop of purple, we have pretty much every other Nars palette, which is something I've come to expect when I do review Nars palettes. So that's not something that I'm extra annoyed by, but again, it's not the most unique. It is beautiful though. I like that we get this row that leans a little bit more pink. We have some warmer tones, and then we have this purple, and then this middle shade does play nicely with the purple. So I do think it's a beautiful palette. It's just not necessarily my absolute most favorite ever color story from Nars. I think it's great, but I don't know that this is my absolute favorite one. So I did rank this a little bit lower. I still like it quality-wise. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. I can definitely get a lot of use out of this. There's a lot of looks I can do with this, but I don't know that it's my favorite of all the Nars color stories. Coming in at number 11 is from Florasis. So I did do a sponsored video with them earlier this week, but I actually did film that video last week, and I was actually trying out some of their products for several weeks leading up to that video so I could gather my thoughts. So this is the Flawless Jade Breathable Pressed Powder in shade 2. So this is in their Ode to Embroidery collection, and I just think the packaging is easily some of the prettiest I have ever seen. This is a very baked pressed powder, but I really, really like it. It's also pretty much just a translucent powder. It's very, very smoothing, very lightweight, perfect for my dry skin, and I do feel like it mattifies better than the cheekbone powder. So for that reason, I did rank this one a little higher. I didn't know what to expect going into this powder, but I actually do really, really like it. I think it's a fantastic formula, and the packaging's beautiful, and I really like it for a daily powder, especially because it's so lightweight and comfortable on my dry skin. Coming in at number 10 is also from Florasis. I was so pleasantly surprised by this product. This is their Floral Engraving Phoenix eyeshadow palette in shade 4 Burgundy Sunset. So this palette launched on November 12th, so it's a very new palette. This is what it looks like. So it is a pinky brown color story. I know we've seen this type of color story so many times, but it's what I love the most. And look at the absolute stunning detail on these shadows. So the embossments here are absolutely stunning. You can't deny that. And I was worried about using the palette and losing the embossment so quickly, but the embossments are actually in here really, really well. They go really deep within the powders, so you don't have to worry about losing them so quickly. I loved the look I created with this. These mattes were so thin and silky and just easy to blend and easy to work with, but they're also very buildable, so you can get a much more intense look if that's what you're looking for. I'm typically not going for overly intense looks, but this palette is really, really lovely. I was so surprised by this formula. So I was definitely expecting much more sheer shadows, but these really can be built up to create, like I said, that much more intense look and give you a lot more depth if that's what you're looking for. The star of the show for me, it was really this shimmer down here. This shimmer is so beautiful. It looks so wet on the lids. I absolutely loved it. So this is a palette that I'm going to keep out for a while because I really, really enjoyed playing with this one. Coming in at number 9, this is from Cheekbone Beauty as well, and this is their Sustain lipstick in the shade Nuna. They also sent this to me, and I love this lipstick. I would say this is more of a satin formula. It's kind of creamy, but it does dry down. This is such a beautiful neutral pink shade. I love this so much. I've actually worn these so many times. So the reason I dropped this down is really just down to packaging because I had to be so picky with these. This just doesn't feel very expensive to me. It is just a plastic tube. It doesn't feel expensive at all, but the product that's inside is amazing. This is easily one of my favorite lipsticks right now. I like it so much. Such a comfortable formula. Doesn't dry me out. Looks so beautiful on the lips. And to prove my point on the packaging, I am really delicate with my makeup, but I did just notice a crack right here. So my cap is cracked already. That being said, I do still absolutely love the product that is in here. I think this is such a fantastic lipstick formula. And coming in at number 8 is a lip gloss formula that I actually really, really love. So this is the Armani Prisma Glass lip gloss in shade 2. So the packaging on this one is what really got me excited about these. I do think this is a really, really nice formula as well. I think this is a lovely, lovely gloss. It's definitely a little bit thicker, so it lasts long on the lips, but it's not sticky. So that right there is perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't think this is the most shiny lip gloss, but it does still have a beautiful shine. It's just that I definitely have some lip glosses that look much more wet than this. I also like the color. I like everything about this. The doe foot is kind of long for what it is, but it's still a really, really lovely formula. I love the packaging. I kind of do want more of these, but I do think this lip gloss formula is fantastic. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. And coming in at number 7 is from Say, and this is their Lip Liner 101 in the shade French. This is a pencil liner. So this is a really, really beautiful pencil, and this is the perfect pink shade for me. I love this so much. This is a little bit on the dry side. It is a wood pencil, like I mentioned, but it's not nearly as dry as a MAC pencil, but it's nowhere near as creamy as a Charlotte Tilbury or a Natasha Denona lip liner. This is just a really nice hybrid. It's definitely very long wearing, and I love that even though it is a drier pencil, it doesn't tug on my lips and it doesn't feel uncomfortable. Coming in at number 6 is from Florasis, and this is their Eastern Beast Sculpting Makeup Palette. This was my favorite from the collection that I tried out from them, and again, look at the embossment on those shades. It is so beautiful. We have a blush, we have a highlight, we have a contour, and we have a brightening powder. So once again, I love this. I do love a good face quad, and I really enjoyed playing with this. So the highlighter is also very pretty. It looks a little bit more glittery than it actually is. It's actually just a very flattering highlight. This blush is perfect. It is a beautiful peachy tone blush. This is definitely a contour shade. This is definitely way too cool tone to be used as a bronzer. And the brightening powder is also beautiful. I like the individual powder more than I like the brightening powder in here, but I do still think this whole quad is fantastic. I did have someone say that this palette reminded them of the Hourglass Dream Edit palette. So if you'll remember this one, this was in my last speed reviews, and this palette had the weirdest release ever. It was very strange the way it sort of came out. It was out in the US for like a day maybe, and now it's just gone. So looking at them side by side, you can kind of see maybe where the similarities might be. I did swatch them out side by side. The bronzer in the Hourglass is way warmer, whereas this is a true contour. The brightening shade in the Florasis is a little bit more yellow, and the highlighter in the Hourglass is definitely more peach. The blushes, though, are pretty close. Formula-wise, they're not that similar. These are pressed powders, these are baked products, so that's the main difference there. I will say the Florasis shades actually do work better for my skin tone. The Dream Edit palette from Hourglass is almost too deep with that super warm bronzer, and the highlighter pulls a little bit deep as well. So these shades actually do work a little bit better for my skin tone. They're fantastic quality. They're super easy to work with. I think it's such a beautiful palette. This is definitely one of my absolute favorite standouts from Florasis. Coming in at number 5 is a new liquid lipstick formula I tried this month, and this is from Nars. This is their Air Matte Ultra Lip Tint in the shade Dolce Vita. So this is such a lovely formula as well. It does have a really nice doe foot on it as well. So you can see the color at the bottom here, and then the packaging is that soft touch matte. So this is really nice. It is like an air matte, so it definitely has like a whipped consistency on the lips, but it goes on. It is so smoothing on the lips. It looks so beautiful and blurring, and it does last a long time. It doesn't fully dry down, but it does stain the lips a little bit. Not a lot, but it does stain a little bit, and this is probably one of the more even lip stains I've ever put on my lips. Lip stains can sometimes be very patchy. This is not at all patchy. It's just such a beautiful shade. It's such a beautiful product. And coming in at number 4 is also from Cheekbone Beauty. This is their Horizon Lip Pencil. This I absolutely love. This is in the shade Sand, and I love pairing this with the lipstick that I mentioned. This is such a beautiful lip liner formula. So this is what the shade looks like, and it is my absolute perfect neutral lip liner shade. This is also a wood pencil. I would say it's creamier than the Say pencil, but not as creamy as the Charlotte Tilbury. And I would say this is very long wearing. It's just such a fantastic formula. This is my absolute perfect hybrid between the Charlotte Tilbury and the MAC liners. This is a fantastic liner formula. I think these are very underrated. I don't really hear anybody talking about this brand, but I feel like people should because their lip products are fantastic. And coming in at number 3 is from CHEALEYQM. This is their Skin Transforming Highlighter in the shade 1 Light Glow. This is such a lovely highlighter. So they do only have 2 shades. I think someone told me that they are going to be expanding their shade range, but this shade actually does work very well for me, and it's such a beautiful formula. It's not at all glittery, and I do think it is what I like to describe as a sophisticated formula. It can be built up to give a really beautiful glow, but it's not going to be super blinding. But you definitely can build it up, and it's just a very beautiful, very flattering highlighter formula, and it's just so smooth. So if you do have texture that you don't want to enhance, this is not going to do that. Coming in at number 2 is the palette I'm wearing today. This is from Vizier, and this is the Serenuse Étendu eyeshadow palette. I love Viseart palettes so much. That is not a surprise to anyone, but this is their newest one. And I do love this. They did change the packaging on these, and there is no mirror in here anymore. I don't know if they're doing that going forward, but this is the new packaging. I'm not mad about this. I do really like this packaging. Honestly, I kind of like it more than the bifold packaging. This is a beautiful color story. This is a perfect wintry color story. It leans into some cool tones, but it really has some beautiful shimmers. I do love this palette. Viseart never ever lets me down when it comes to quality. They just have some of the very best eyeshadows in the game. Like I said, this is one of my top 2. This is right up there with Nars and only bested by Natasha Denona and YSL. I just love how easy and consistent their palettes are. They're just so stunning and beautiful. Another thing I really love about their shadows is the way that their shimmers can apply with a brush. I love to use my fingers with my shimmers because it just gives me the best impact. You can also wet your brush, but I'm really just not a fan of that method for some reason. But this allows me to apply my shimmers with a dry brush and still get a beautiful impact. So I really, really love their shadows. And again, this color story, this is cool toned. This is very this time of year. There's some silvers in here. We have a little bit of a purple. We have a bit of a gold as well. It's just such a beautiful color story. And I was so excited when I saw this come out that of course I had to grab it. And my number 1 favorite product that I tried in the month of November is the YSL Mini Couture Clutch in shade 700 Over Noir. This one I picked up and I wasn't 100% sure about it because it is definitely a smokier type quad than I would typically go for, but I really, really wanted it, and I have created the same look several times now, and it's so easy to do. So I really do love this quad. I love their packaging. It's so luxurious, whereas I feel like this formula really is worth it. These are some of the creamiest, easy to work with mattes that I've ever used. The shimmers are always super stunning. They are a thinner shimmer formula, but because of that, once again, they're not going to emphasize texture or anything like that. They're just a beautiful, beautiful formula. They're always going to be flattering and look stunning on the lids. So I can't say enough about the YSL formulas and their quads, but that is it. That is all of the makeup I tried in the month of November. Let me know down below what was your favorite product that you tried out in November. Now that we are at the end of November, it is time to get into my year-end wrap-up series. So we're going to be ranking all of the makeup that I tried this year. So let me know what category you'd like to see first. Eyeshadow palettes will probably be posted December 23rd or 24th. I, for some reason, like to post them at Christmas, and then I take a couple days off. So let me know all of your thoughts down below. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!